Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show, South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecasts, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, the real wicked thing happening this week is this cold snap that we just had. Woke up in the upper 40s in the Tri-County area this morning. The further south you got a little warmer. Wind chill factor, not South Florida weather, but we're going to return to seasonal weather towards the end of the week. Anyway, we had some good fishing. It was kind of weird this weekend, kind of hit or miss, and we will go over that right now. But let's start with some inshore stuff. We're going to start off with Mr. Ryan Reynolds. This kid is going to be a force to reckon with as he gets older, folks. Here he is right here. He went down to Isla Mirada, and this is a clean-looking snook, too, man. I mean, you know, the little guys, that color, he's not all green, nothing like that. That snook's sitting in good water, eating good, and, you know, hey, congrats, Ryan. Always getting on the fish, whether it is, his freshwater stuff that he's got going on with the peacocks and the snakeheads, or he goes out and, he gets in on the saltwater action. So, like I said, pay attention to this young man. He is definitely an up-and-comer. All right, what else do we got in the shallows? Oh, here we go. This will be Kevin getting on the sheep's head. Look at that. Ooh, getting dinner going. So, hey, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. If it's a little slow and you end up with one fish, hey, perfect, right? Did he say anything? Yep. So he says the sheep's head are moving in on the West Coast. Perfect. And go out there and go get them. We got a couple of folks that are really dialed in on getting them. All right, here we go. Marlo Kennedy Aleva. Let me see. Probably butchering her last name, but it's okay. Last cast of the day, waiting for boats to move out of the way on the ramp, and she gets this nice little prize. Again, hey, Skinny Water Queen up north on the West Coast. Hey, perfect. Good deal. Nice snook. And, again, always in the fish. Week after week after week. Hey, how you doing? Mr. Nucking Futz is in the chat. Let's see here. What have we got going on? Yes, so Marlo, thank you for always contributing. And again, keeping us in the know with what's happening in your area. Yeah. So we got some snook, obviously shallow water snook going on, man. It's awesome. All right. What else? Do we got anything really inshore stuff? Yeah, that's about does it for there. Oh, well, we can hit the reef, right? We got Diego. Diego went off to the reef, and obviously you can see they got a ton of yellowtail, nice red grouper, that's probably a Cero mackerel, and look at the jumbo size yellow jack right here. So this is what we're looking at on our reefs. Oh, and the grunt. Don't forget about the lonely grunt down here. Yeah, that's a Cero. I can see the line on it. So yeah, the reef is hitting it. So if this weekend, which is what I'm going to speak about this weekend, the trolling for me personally, I hit the reef Sunday and I didn't get a nibble. I was hoping, wahoo, kingfish, something like that. But hey, obviously, you go in, you park it up and you chum, the fish will come to you. So but I did not get a single bite on the reef. We headed out, and the skipjack tuna were all over the place. They were easy pickings, and we happened to run into a couple of, barely legal mahi. So take it, right? All right, let's keep on keeping on. We're going to move. Do we got any other reef stuff? Yes, we got. No, that's not a reef. Well, it is. This is Daniel. This guy says he finally got his boat, and he put a first wahoo on it too. Using the tutorials that we have shown, over the years how to do it. Congratulations on the first fish and the boat. I mean, it makes it all worth it when you get something like that going on, and the stars align and everything falls in place. So congratulations on the boat and the wahoo. Very nice. Reef stuff. Richard, went out of Jupiter, and he's tried high-speed trolling, no luck. Then he went back to probably trolling the bucktail jigs and Boone turbo hammers. Got a couple of footballs and a bonita, so he's in on the tuna. And of course, the bonita is starting to come in. The false albacore are starting to come in smaller now, so they will be more live bait size as time goes on. And those jumbos they'll be in about like 30 feet or so. Anyway, Richard, as always, thank you for contributing. My buddy went inshore. Vero said he got 10 schoolie snook. No, of course not. Why would you catch, anything that's in the slot? That would make life too easy. Anyway, Richard, always going out with his girls and, sharing the catch, and, definitely has a solid arsenal from the message that he's wrote me that, keeps producing good catches, quality catches. And that's what, the more you fish, the more time you put in it. That is always the hope. Some days we strike out. Here we go. Chuck. Nice cobia. Nice flat ocean behind him too. So on the reef, right? He actually looks a lot like my brother. Anyway, yes, nice cobia. So the cobia, hey, on the east coast of Florida, it's not, it's kind of an incidental catch, but hey, take it when you can get it. They will swim through. All right, let's see here. Joseph, out on the reef, right? Said he was trolling. He caught a couple of jacks and a kingfish. So here's his kingfish, and he wasn't sure what the jacks were. He said he thought they were almacos, and I will go down to that and verify, which I wrote him in a message. Yes, that's almaco jack all day. So, hey, keep it. If not, let him go. Is what it is. No harm, no foul. And now let's keep on keeping on. First, we got to talk. We got to give the best of Boynton, Captain Jim. We got to give him some props here. He managed to catch a squid on a slow pitch jig. Gotta love it. I told him, hey, if you ever seen the old movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, that's pudding. So hey, Captain Jim, again, if you're in, and this is just a little sarcasm from him. Obviously, he's a great captain. He puts his customers on the bite all the time. If you're ever in Boynton looking for a charter boat captain to take you out, put you on fish, Captain Jim is the man to get it done for you. 4J's Charters. If you can't get a hold of him, you can hit me up and I can definitely put you in touch with him. All right, so let's go back. We're going to start doing pelagics, right? The reef was pretty good. We got snapper bite, a little cobia, which is rare. All right, we're going to start off with Sean. Sean impressed me with this triple tail. Nice. He said he found a floating piece of driftwood out in 1400. Got a couple nice dolphin and his first keeper triple tail. And I told him, I haven't seen a triple tail that size in the Atlantic in quite some time. And so, out there, he went out, he took a gamble, headed way offshore. And of course, he came in with a couple of fish. I'm wondering why the tails are cut off, but that's something he can figure that out. Anyway, hey, this triple tail, wow, that's great eating, Sean. Hey, congrats and thanks as usual for always sharing your catches. And I wish you nothing but the best for coming in, because I know he's heading out here. He's heading out to these depths. He went out to 1,400 feet on a jet ski. That is insane. So yeah, so we still got dolphin biting. The triple tail, don't ever count on that. The triggerfish also, he just happened to be swimming around. Right now, that's what we're looking at. Tony went out, caught a couple of footballs that they threw back. Yep, of course. And then 300 feet out of Port Everglades. Nice dolphin. So, hey, you put in the work, you're going home with one fish. Like right now, the fishing is scattered. That's the season that we're changing into. So, to come home with even one dolphin right now. They were biting fairly good a few weeks ago on their southerly migration on the inside of the stream, but now they're sort of scattering out, and it's going to be slim pickings coming here not too long from now. All right, that's the Wahoo. Here's another Wahoo, Steven. on the planer Sunday morning out of Hillsboro. So, you know, like I said, I trolled and didn't get a single bite. This guy ended up with a nice solid wahoo. I mean, you know, hey, more power to him. You got to love it when it happens. You know, everybody who's always getting their wahoo bite. It's always exciting and always well-deserved because, you know, people who are catching wahoo tend to target them periodically, and it eats up half, if not a whole trip, and you don't always get wahoo, right? They're an elusive fish. So, you know, if you ask me about how many wahoo you're going to catch out of 10 trips, it's more than likely one if you're lucky. So, awesome catch, man. Keep up the good work. There we go. There we go. There we go. Cobia. All right, here we go. James Thompson. Nice little sailfish, man. Not too bad, but on light tackle, huh? That'd be awesome. So the sailfish are swimming out. I have seen a couple of reports. We'll get to that here. It's going to be sailfish. The sailfish are swimming around, folks. So if you want to know a trick, if you're not into live baiting, I have caught many a sailfish on sea witches rigged with a bonita strip up on top. Several times they've actually, when I've tripped the planer and I'm winding in just to check the bait or whatnot, that you can see them following it up and they hit it. And I've had several hookups with them like that, which, you know, you control your sea witch right up on top with the bonita strip and the sailfish will come up and eat it. All right, here we go. Neil Link. PalmBeachCharters.net. Again, like I said, the sailfish, you got 2 of them that day. So, you know, you take your clients out, you put them on some sailfish, man. Folks that don't really fish all the time, man, hey, you get them on stuff like that. That's what dreams are made of. You know, forget the food, man. You just caught the fish of a lifetime. And they got 2. So, you know, hey, PalmBeachCharters.net. Neil Link. So he's a little bit north of Captain Jim. He goes out of Palm Beach Inlet up near Peanut Island. So again, another one. If you are in the market for a charter boat captain out of Palm Beach Inlet, hit up Neil. Yeah, again, you're going to go home with, you know, the experience of a lifetime. These are not fly-by-night captains. These guys have been doing it for many years. And, you know, they've built a customer base and they've built a rapport and reliability for making it happen for their clients. All right, Chris, again. So this is about the tail of the tail. A single dolphin you ran across. When I ran into him, we got a double. We double headed up, but one of them got off immediately. So we got the other one in the boat. Nice, very nice. And they're all about this size, barely keeper. But hey, that makes that, I can tell you right now, that fish precisely makes 8 tacos. All right, Chris, congratulations. Let's keep on keeping on. Jody. So, let's go back here. Jody caught. Oh, we'll go here. Out of St. Lucie, right? Again, another dolphin. A little bit bigger than the ones that we were showing, but he said, you know, nice gaffer. They got that 4 blackfin and a silky shark. All on a planer with the rigged ballyhoo. So that answers your question. I get asked a lot. Hey, can you troll ballyhoo on a planer? Yes, you can. If you don't rig them right, they're going to spin and they'll trip your planer perpetually. You'll never make it happen. So my suggestion is you learn how to pin rig a ballyhoo. That way they don't bunch up and curl up and start spinning and you never get it done. You got to have your ballyhoo properly rigged, and yes, you control it. What did they say? A little north of the inlet, St. Lucie Inlet. So that's that, right? And then we come down here, and he said he got a silky shark, and this fish too. Yes, this is the tax man that we all love. He hit a trolling planer. I've had it happen too, and usually once that happens, I'm like, forget it, I'm off the reef. But yeah. Nice couple of fish right there. They had a good day. They're going home with dinner. And then we're at the gym. So that is our fishing report, right, folks? So let's turn that off. So we're looking, you know, your reef's a little lively. We got the snapper bite going on, right? Mixed with the yellowtail, if you're going for them, there will be cirro mackerel. Don't be surprised if you get cut off or if you hook them and you're like, that wasn't your intended species. Hey, they're just as good. Cirro mackerel, one of the less oily tasting mackerels. So we've got that bite going on. Mutton snappers, scattered. Mahi, they're there. They're scattered. They're real scattered, and they're going to start really disappearing. But, you know, you still got a chance to kind of get in on them. You just got to hunt. Mine, I was literally, me and the Slayer, we were out filming, literally doing blind trolling. And we were heading through scattered weeds, and we ran across them. And again, we were blind trolling for tuna. So long story short, you'll see it in the episodes. Again, episodes coming up soon. Not this weekend, but more than likely next weekend, which would be, let's see, that would be the 9th. That would be the 16th. So more than likely the weekend of the 23rd, right before Thanksgiving, we'll be back rolling with real stuff, not just the live feed. And starting that week, this day we will shift to Wednesdays because it's my schedule. I don't have enough time in life for anything anyway. So there we go. All right. Yes. Dolphin, right? The wahoo bite on the waning side of our full moon wasn't spectacular the way it was the previous weekend. So that just lets you know, maybe moving forward into next month, you know, December full moon won't be as active as the November and the October moon, but the December moon, if you want to try the waxing side of it, which means you're heading towards the full moon, start, you know, looking to do your wahoo fishing at about 80% and do that. The waning side, not so active, but then again, it all depends upon, you know, we had a cold front approaching and everything. So there's lots of atmospheric things that work with your fishing in ways that always kind of confuse anglers, and they can't grab a hold of it sometimes because things change for some reason, and fish are fish. Whew, that was very windy. And sailfish, right? Sailfish are over the reef. So if you're really striking out, you know, go on ahead and try for your sailfish. Like I said, right now we've got, there's a minnow run happening. The football-sized skipjacks are all over the place. 400 to 600. The mahi, they're still, you know, hit or miss. If you want to go for them, go for them. But, you know, the reef trolling will slow down a little bit. So, you know, you're deep dropping for rosies, for vermilions. That activity is going to pick up, right? And also our yellowtail fishing. So, you know, the trolling is still happening. The fish are kind of always there, but just something to consider. All right, let's get into this weather, right? Like I said, we woke up very chilly this morning, and it's going to calm down as the weekend approaches. But right now we got high pressure to the northwest, and that's what's driving these winds from the northeast right now. So this is windy, right, folks? The next couple of websites we're going to go through are in the description. Feel free to click and paste. Use them at your free will. These are great forecasting tools. Down here, you have a color-coded chart, which correlates to what you see on the screen, or you can click and point, and it'll tell you your wind speed and your wind direction, wave heights, periods, rain accumulation, all sorts of goodies. This is windy.com. All right, so as you can see currently, that's right now today. Let's look at tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, right? We're looking at 12 knots from the northeast down further in the Keys. It looks like it's ripping 17 knots. So again, we've had this cold front pass through. Night's Arctic blast, and behind it is always wind. In front of it is the calmness, like we saw Saturday and Sunday. We had nice, beautiful days. After the cold front passes, you get a couple of windy days. Right up on the west coast, we got the Skyway Bridge guys. Kingfish are coming in. I saw a couple of pictures of nice kingfish in the shallows over on the west coast. So if that's your cup of tea, you go on ahead and do that. Up north near Port St. Lucie tomorrow morning, we're looking at around 5 miles an hour, not 5 knots, sorry. And it doesn't really change through the day. The further south we go, and we're slowing down a little bit to about 9 knots, and the Keys still ripping down there. Not much changes. Thursday morning, looks like we're going to pick back up again. And like you'll see here, it'll start to peter out towards Friday and Saturday. Not much. 9 knots from the north. Down here, we got a little bit of, convection happening right here, where you got 2 different wind directions meeting, and they start all heading towards the coming from the northeast. 11 knots. The winds are still very elevated. But, it's so, we've got big seas right now happening over the next couple of days because of the cold front that passed. We'll see if it's going to be a swell or not here. I haven't even had the time to look. 12 knots. This would be tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, a little bit further up north, 8 knots from the north. So it's not ridiculous, but we'll have to look at the seas. From what I initially read, we've got elevated sea levels. I didn't look at the direction or nothing, so we'll figure all that out. Friday morning, 11 knots, still hasn't changed much. 8 down in the Keys, you're still ripping from the northeast. 14 knots Friday afternoon. Much doesn't change Friday. Going into Saturday, 11. So we shift more easterly. Okay, so what you're seeing right here, when you got that easterly wind starting to come up, that means we're going to head back into seasonal temperatures, probably in the upper 70s, lower 80s come the weekend. On top of having this wind that is just, it's staying consistent throughout the week, all about 10, 12 knots, not much lower. Head up towards Vero Beach. It's the same stuff, heading straight from the east. So we're going to have some weather and some waves. So this weekend is definitely not going to be last weekend. Saturday afternoon, 7 from the east up north, 8 from the east. Sunday, looks like we got southeast wind, 5 knots in the morning. So it might calm down maybe a little bit. And as you head further south, it looks like we're picking up to about 7 to 9 knots over on the west coast, like 5 knots from the east. So they're on the leeward side, which means, your west coast is going to be fairly laid down. Your shallows are going to be murky from all the wind happening. So if you're doing, you're doing your skinny water fishing for your snook, your redfish, all those goodies, the sheep's head, just consider that the murkiness might stifle your fishing just a hair. But if that's the chance you got to get out there and go do it. Sunday afternoon, we're looking at 6 knots from the southwest. So starting Sunday afternoon, looks like we might have a change. Let's see if it carries over into Monday. And here's where we're going to lose our color. Northwest. Yeah. So starting Sunday into Monday, it looks like we might have a change of weather. So let's go back to Wednesday, which would be tomorrow morning. And we're going to look at our waves. So right now they're saying we got 5-foot waves, 6 seconds. So we're not really at a swell. 7 seconds up in the Palm Beach area. Vero, 6 seconds, 4 foot. So we're looking at 4 to 5 feet. It's 3 to 5, down in the Keys, same stuff. That's tomorrow. Much doesn't change in the afternoon. 4 feet, 4 foot waves from the north at 6 seconds. That's not a swell. It's going to be, and with the wind ripping out there, it's going to definitely create a bunch of chop. Our west coast is looking, pretty. And remember, west coast, your state waters are out 9 miles. So just consider that. In the Keys, 4 foot at 5 seconds. So we're not having a swell created by this cold front. Same thing, 4 foot at 4 seconds come Thursday morning, Tri-County area, 3 foot at 5 seconds. That's that's a little sporty, but hey, if you're a diehard fisherman, and I know the charter guys and the commercial guys, they got to earn a living, so they don't have a choice. Thursday afternoon, 3 foot at 4 seconds. Yeah, it's not a swell, so it's going to be choppy out there. Come Friday, same stuff. 3 foot seas at about 4 seconds. We head out. It's the same no matter where you go. You're looking at around the same thing. And now remember, if you're in a certain area and it's a little off from this, these are just forecasting tools. We try to aim to do our best. If anything drastically changes, I try to do an update on the Facebook channel or the Facebook group, just to let everybody know what is really going on that I can see. Can I be completely wrong? Yes. Is the hope that? No. Anyway, all right. So Friday afternoon, right? Same thing. 3 foot at 1 second near Port St. Lucie, near that inlet. 3 foot at 4 seconds. So yeah, we're not looking at a chop. We're looking at chop, not a swell. And it again, with that 3 foot, you start getting some sporty conditions. Saturday, same stuff, 3 foot at 4 seconds, 3 foot at 5 seconds. Not much is changing up and down the coast at all. Over on the West Coast, it looks even more, more beautiful than it should be. They're looking at, let's see. West Coast, 1 foot at 3 seconds. So, the West Coast with their 4 inches of water. Let's see. Florida Fishing 27. Hey, Heath, almost missed this. Was out fishing, and despite it being in the 60s, managed to catch a little blue runner on a jerkbait. Hey, there we go. Managed to hook a cuda, and hand lining in a cuda is always fun. Trust me, I come from a long line of hand fishing. That was the first thing I started doing. And then when I started planer trolling, 100 years ago, it was nothing but hand lining until the bridle system was developed. So I feel your pain, and congratulations. Listen, blue runner, barracuda, it's all food to me, buddy. All right, thanks for the report, and I appreciate it. And on a jerkbait too. You're out there fishing with freshwater lures, and you're pulling in, some saltwater fish. I give you props for that, boss. Love that. All right, back to it. That's Saturday. Sunday, let's see what we got going on, if anything changes. No, of course not. So we're looking at maybe 2 foot at 6 seconds. 2 foot. So they're saying Sunday it looks like it's going to drop down a little bit, 2 foot to about a 6 second period. So, that might calm down. And again, we are at Tuesday, so this could definitely change. Sunday might be a more pleasant day, not as sporty for the guys with the smaller vessels, pardon me, us folks that got 17-foot boats and all that stuff, hey, you might have to make do and really wait till the morning and get out after daybreak and go out there and figure out what you can do. But we're looking at 2 foot 6 seconds. Sorry, I forgot to mention, but I was inshore casting. Can't wait to get out. I've been missing that feeling of hooking up on. Oh yeah, definitely hooking up on the trolls. Nothing. Hey, still, listen. You're pitching freshwater baits. Let's not downplay the fact that it's awesome. But yeah. Sometimes you got to do. Listen, land-based is one of the most trickiest fisheries. Land-based and reef fishing. I've said this for many, many years. On top of from when I created the YouTube channel. Land-based fishing, I mean, you're stuck. You're on land. You got to think outside of the box to make it happen according to your conditions. And the same thing with the reef fishing. Everybody wants to go and catch mutton snapper. Reef fishing is extremely hard to get dialed in on, and the conditions can still be perfect and nothing bites. And then a shark shows up, and then what, right? So yes, Mr. David, how you doing? Best forecasting. I try. Hey, Sean, good to hear from you, man. We had a whole speech about your triple tail, boss. Man, it's 1,400 feet way the heck offshore in a jet ski, man. You are single-handedly amazing. People, you should teach people your ways, because man, you are a brave sailor. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you caught those fish, Jim, and gave you something to talk about. All right. Sunday afternoon stays 2 feet at 7 seconds. Let's see if it changes. Nothing really changes heading into Monday. Tuesday, it looks like it'll pick up. So Sunday and Monday, we're looking like we might be able to, get out there and put a little bit of a hurting on the fish. Is it going to be calm and beautiful like it was this past weekend or the weekend before? No, there's going to be a little bump in the rump. So, put on your, your adventurer hat, navigate that inlet carefully, and get out there and put some meat on the deck if you can. All right, let's look at our rain and thunder. It's probably going to be very dry conditions. Like I said, I haven't done much homework yet, so I'm doing it on the fly. That's tomorrow, dry. Again, we just passed, the cold front just passed, so it's dragging all the moisture with it. Thursday, dry in the afternoon. Friday, dry in the afternoon. So we got great conditions, maybe a few clouds in the sky, but no moisture is showing up at all, no storms. Starting Saturday, here they come a little bit, but nothing much. That's just some moisture. Like I said, you might see some offshore, off in the distance storms as you are making your way offshore if you can get out there. Sunday, a little bit down south, not much. In the afternoon, same thing. That's just moisture, maybe a storm or two. Monday, here we go. We start seeing a little bit, and as my color fades and windy won't give me anything past this, it's kind of tricky to figure it out. But there we go. So we're looking at dry conditions for the rest of the week. All right. Now we are going to go to WindFinder, which is the numeric version of what we just looked at, and we'll see if they jive. A lot of times they do. Okay. Today, so right now, tomorrow, winds northeast, heading into the barely teens, low double digits, high single digits, cloudy. Okay. Not bad. And our waves, again, coming from the northeast, 4 to 5 foot, lowering down a little bit as night falls. Not too bad. As we head into Thursday and Friday, again, wind still coming from the northeast. Again, same thing, high single digits, low doubles, a little bit less on Friday, and heading into Saturday and Sunday as they start to peter out. Our wave heights, we're looking at 3 foot, 2 to 3 foot both days, 2 to 4, not bad. The period is shortened though. When you got 6 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, that's going to be choppy out there. So, just if you're heading out Thursday and Friday, just something to consider. And our period increase. Pedro, how we doing? Hey, just came in for a bit. Hope all's good. I'll be back at it after Thanksgiving with the fish and cookie. Oh, great. Yeah. Hey, man, we're going to have to, I think I'll have to figure out what the consistency of the cooking is. But thank you for showing up, Mr. Ramos. I greatly appreciate it, and all of your input that you share with our local fishing community. You are a scholar and a gentleman. All right. Yeah, I'll be glad to have you. We'll have to hook up eventually, too. I got a question to ask you, but back to focus. Anyway, Saturday, Sunday, right? So our waves start petering off. Thank you, Pedro. I love hearing from you as much as you love hearing from me. Okay. Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of a variable wind, right? And it peters out really good on Sunday. So we're looking at, our waves. Sunday, we're looking at the swell starting to develop as we head in. The tails are cut for the... okay, cool. So that's how they... Yeah, because I usually... So I fished off a drift boat, the Fish City Pride, for years. And I just saw that, and I'm like, that's how they marked your fish, and they didn't lose it in the pile, is what you're getting at. Yeah, that's the same thing. Say you recognize your fish on a drift boat, they slit the throat, they chop the tail, all that goodness. Hey, I can give you a piece of hint. If you ever go yellowtail fishing and they do that, or you're on a drift boat or something, do not let your mark be the top tail. Always let it be the bottom. The top tail on a yellowtail is the longer one, and that's how you measure it to 12 inches. If they cut that bad boy, you could actually have an illegal fish in the boat. So just something to consider. All right, thanks for the info, Sean. I appreciate it. Yes, so Monday and Tuesday, we're turning into a swell. As you can see, our period lengthens greatly. So Monday is looking, man, like the better of the days. I might have to play hooky from work and get out there and do it, especially with these low wind levels coming in. Look at that. Low single digits, doesn't even pick up till the afternoon, and that swell forms. So, and again, a swell of 1 to 2 foot is very lovely conditions out on the water. Sunday, a little bit more bumpier, but hey, definitely not out of the question doable. Alrighty, so that's that. Let's take on and look at our moon phase, right? Oops, let's go here, take the moon phase and go on with it. All right, so again, we had the perfect scenario over the last week where the full moon was right in the middle of the week. So both weekends you could do your wahoo fishing. Right now, we are at the waning side of the moon, which means we're heading towards the dark side. Probably about 10 boats out at 1,200. Went out a little further to get away from the people, and that's when I saw the frigate. Cool. Hey, yeah, that was, you definitely found, you know, the needle in the haystack with that. Smart move of you to get away from everyone. I usually tend to do that too, because if there's already boats out there, they've beat up on whatever weed line or signs of life. So you made a very smart move to do that, and you came in with the dolphin, the triggerfish, but like I'm saying, that triple tail, massive. Haven't seen those things since I was a kid in the 80s. So yeah, congrats to you on that. And also, Sean, you're always putting into work. So anything that comes your way, any, you know, expanse you make on your knowledge or anything you may feel is luck, you well deserve all of your catches that you get. You definitely put in a ton of work, and it shows. All right, so tomorrow we're at 45% waning, Thursday 35%, Friday 26%, Saturday 18%, Sunday 11%, Monday 6%. So next Wednesday we're looking at the new moon, the zero darkness, moon gone. So these are where we're at right now. Coming into the weekend is where I tend to think the pelagics bite more, because we have less illumination at night. When you got a lot of illumination at night, the predators can see all the big fish swimming around. I tend to like this sort of moon more for snapper fishing, dolphin fishing, tuna, all that stuff. The moon being bright, I'm not sure what the phenomenon is with the mackerel, but they tend to bite better as you're approaching the full moon. I'm not sure how it works, but hey, that's just the trend. And then again, sometimes it's the exact opposite, because fish got a mind of their own. All right, so that's our moon phase. It's not a wahoo moon, it's more of a snapper, pelagic type of moon going on right now. So, get out there and figure that one out. And again, the sailfish are coming in. So again, with our darker moon, the sailfish won't be eating all night. They will need something to see during the day with the shadow from up above. Good to go. All right, let's take a look at our tide charts, and we'll move on with life. Right? Okay. Tide charts, very important. So right now we have ideal tides going up. Always great. You want the outgoing tide, especially for you guys that fish the jetties. You're fishing an inlet. The tide is important for our inlet. The water flows out on an outgoing tide. What happens is the water flows out, pushes out all the microorganisms, phytoplankton, chlorophyll, everything. Little fish come in and they feed on that. The predators come in and eat them. That is the cycle of life. That's why you need an outgoing tide. If you are fishing an incoming tide from the jetty, or if you're trying to troll past it or any of that goodness, showing for yellowtail and all that, the tide's not going to work on your side, especially the guys fishing the jetties. You need the outgoing tide. If you're fishing an incoming tide, you're going to catch nothing. So, and then again, with our outgoing tide, it needs to be topical to the time of day. The better feeding times are in the morning as the sun rises, and in the afternoon as the sun sets. If your outgoing tide is in the middle of the day when there's no shadows and the fish hide and scatter over the reef, again, completely ineffective time. So tides, it matters which tide you got and which what phase it is according to the week. It usually tends to shift week by week. So one week you'll be on and the next week you'll be off, with not very much time in between. Sean, let's see. Funny enough, that triple tail ate a live pilchard. Oh man, yeah. You know what's funny, right? Is triple tail seemed like a lethargic fish. They almost seem like the sloth of the sea. Yeah, throw bait in front of their face and watch how fast they move. They turn it on, definitely. Yes, triple tail are very, very deceiving that way. You think they're not going to move fast. The next thing you know, they're pegging, like you said, live baits. Yes. All right. tomorrow we are as the sun rises, we're almost at the end of the outgoing tide. And as the sun sets, we're about in the middle of it. Heading into the weekend, though, we're looking better. Thursday and Friday, right? We're about mid-tide. Saturday and Sunday will be right at the beginning of the tide starting to flow out, which is great. And if you guys that like the afternoon fishing, the tide, again, will start flowing out the further we get into the weekend, right as the sun's going down. So if you're the afternoon guy waiting for that, waiting for that tide to change, it'll be more favorable earlier in the week. Come the weekend, the morning time is going to be right where that tide starts ripping and doing its thing. So it might be something to get out and go and explore. All right, that about does it for our tides and everything that we got to say. So folks, before we take off, if you are in the market for some fishing apparel, check out our sponsor, WindRider. I've been with these guys for quite a few years, and they make the UPF 50 shirts, the ones that you don't need sunscreen for. They're great. And the best part about it is they got the South Florida Saltwater Fishing logo on them. So, you're supporting the brand. You let them know you're a real South Floridian, and not very many people walking around the U.S. with these things. But hey, like I said, if you're in the market for it, cool. Go on ahead. The link is in the description. Click and point. Do it. No, I don't make any money. I don't make enough sales from these things to make any money. So, it's just something that I like to tell everybody about, to see the brand, all that goodness. I got a bunch of these shirts, different types. Like, they come in long sleeve, no hood, long sleeve with a hood and a gator, long sleeve with just a hood. You can get the logo on the front, on the back. We got the American flag. We got all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the American flag, so if you, if you're in the market for it, hey, they're fairly stain resistant, keep you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, which is what we're going through right now. And, no sunscreen required. And speaking of all that, I want to say happy Veterans Day, because I haven't said it yet. And for all my Marine buddies out there, I'm going to say happy birthday, even though it was yesterday. They will definitely know what I'm talking about. All right. Before we get out of here, folks, if you're on Facebook, I'd like to ask you, go on ahead and ask to join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Here it is. This is what it looks like without the dates, the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It is a Facebook group. It is a private group. No public stuff going on here. We don't want bots, and we don't want to be harassed by people asking if they need their boat detailed 4,000 times a week or any of that other goodness. So it's a private group. You have to answer a couple of questions to join. What's your favorite fish, and do you apply by the rules? The fish, hey, whatever. If you're just getting into fishing, a non-answer is a non-answer. Bots can't answer questions, so that's how I weed out who belongs and who doesn't. And then again, the rules are fairly simple. I call it, don't screw around. Okay, no bothering people, no being nasty. Periodically people make a mistake and they keep an undersized fish or something. Listen, everybody's got to start somewhere. We've all been at that point of frustration too, where we're like, man, I didn't spend 8 hours today to go home empty-handed. I'm not at all saying keep undersized fish, but the criticism and the constructive criticism is always, hey, we're friends here. Anyway, back to it. South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Ask to join. It's a great thing. We're at about 2,500 members. We're great, good to go. And every Monday we put on a little brag board post. And if you at all contribute to the group, anytime, right? It doesn't have to be on the Monday brag board. It can be anywhere. You are guaranteed to be showcased in the show, and you also have the likelihood of becoming the poster child, which will be the YouTube thumbnail for this live stream, which we have Tuesday nights and soon enough shifting to Wednesday. Anyway, that about does it for this episode, folks. I'm going to let everybody get on with life. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for saying hi. If you said hi, if not, hey, we still love you. And hopefully we'll see you out on the water. I might be getting out there on Sunday if everything if all the ducks line up, right? All right, cool. And that is what it is. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. Till next Tuesday, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.